battles, no riot police, and in Libya's equivalent of Tahrir Square, Green Square, just a small government-sponsored gathering provides free entertainment around the clock.
Whatever the previous inroads made into the city by the rebels, Tripoli is now a quiet place. But the damage has been done. Tripoli is also paralyzed from the loss of the people who used to work here.
The port is at a standstill. Workers, skilled and unskilled, have fled. And nearby, crowds are still gathering on the docks to board a boat to take them away. At street level in the district of AlJazeera, this mobile phone company office is still smouldering after it was torched during the anti-Gaddafi protests. Along the entire street, anti-Gaddafi slogans have been painted over, but the shops remain shut. But Muammar Gaddafi's son, Saiful Islam, says there's no reason for concern.
Come on, if they have 2 fires in one house or 2 buildings, maybe, of course, maybe 100 fires. Does it mean that there is everything is collapsed?
Saiful Islam also says that migrant workers are already asking to come back. But at Tripoli airport, no signs that these hundreds of Egyptians camped in squalor are changing their minds about wanting to leave. Anita McNaught, Al Jazeera, Tripoli.
Now to the situation in Côte d'Ivoire, where at least 6 women have been killed by security forces who back the defiant leader Laurent Gbagbo. Witnesses say that the women were gunned down while marching in support of the opposition figure Alassane Ouattara in Abidjan. Bernard Smith reports, and we should advise you that you may find some of the images in this report disturbing.
Shot dead here as they prepared to protest against the Côte d'Ivoire's incumbent president, Laurent Gbagbo. The victims were at least 6 women, part of an all-female demonstration, say witnesses, that thought their sex would make them safe. It's another sign that this country risks tumbling back into civil war.
Our mothers went out to march peacefully. Then we saw Gbagbo's tanks. They came and opened fire on the old women, killing at least 6 on the spot.
And this mortuary in Abobo, a suburb of Abidjan, is full. The 50 bodies delivered in the last 5 days have been piled on the floor. More bloody proof of the escalating violence between troops loyal to Gbagbo and supporters of Alassane Ouattara. The UN endorsed Ouattara's victory in November's election, but he remains holed up in an Abidjan hotel. Foreign delegations shuttle back and forth, but there's little progress. No amount of prodding and cajoling from the international community has managed to shift Gbagbo from the presidency. He still controls the military, though it's not known how much cash he still has to pay them. But Gbagbo can count on his protégé, Charles Blay Good, to whip up the self-styled Young Patriots. In the west of the country, rebels have wrested control of a small town from pro-Gbagbo forces, another sign of deteriorating security. And according to the UN, electricity and water supplies to the north of Côte d'Ivoire have now been cut. Most of Ouattara's support comes from here. So far, at least 130,000 people have been forced to flee the violence in Côte d'Ivoire. Almost 400 people are known to have been killed. Diplomats think the real number is much higher. Elsewhere in the world, recently, governments have been brought down by figures far less dramatic than that. Bernard Smith, Al Jazeera.
Egypt has another new prime minister. He's in the job after Ahmed Shafiq, who was appointed by President Mubarak after last month's opposition protests, quit. So, who is Essam Sharaf, the new man? Well, he's an engineer by profession and was the country's transport minister from 2004 until the end of 2005. He won praise for trying to kickstart a new nationwide transport system. But he resigned after a series of deadly train accidents widely blamed on government negligence. He also won support from many of the youth who were behind the revolution by visiting protesters in Cairo's Liberation Square. Al Jazeera's Shireen Tadros has more.
It was the protesters' main demand, and on the eve of another million-man march, it was met. The military announcing on their Facebook page they'd accepted the resignation of Prime Minister Ahmed Shafiq, the man appointed by former President Mubarak before he stepped down. 12 hours before, Shafiq was on Egyptian television having heated debates. He told presenters and guests he wasn't planning on stepping down, even given the public pressure and planned protests. He also defended the state security apparatus Egyptians have come to loathe.
Friday's demonstration, which had been gaining a lot of momentum here, is still going ahead. But organisers say it's not going to be a sit-in or a protest, but a day of celebration because the Egyptian people have had one of their main demands met.
اليوم هيبقى تظاهرة فيها احتفال.
Friday will be a festive day. We will finish in the evening and tell people there is no need for further action now. We need to give a chance to the new cabinet to tell us how and when the rest of our demands will be met.
This is the man tasked with forming a new cabinet, Egypt's new Prime Minister Issam Sharaf. He served briefly as transport minister under Hosni Mubarak but quit his post in protest after a deadly train crash. He said the state was not serious enough about solving traffic issues in Egypt. Youth and opposition groups support his appointment. They want a new government of technocrats and to be rid of any remnants of the old regime. With political changes going full steam ahead, Egyptians are cautiously optimistic. They're keeping a close watch, aware the people's strength lies in their stamina to keep pushing for the kind of Egypt they're still dreaming of. Shireen Tadros, AlJazeera, Cairo.
In Bahrain, pro-democracy protesters have changed tack and staged a mass car protest on the streets of the capital, Manama. It was part of ongoing demonstrations against the ruling family. Meanwhile, there was also a change of tack from Bahraini opposition group leaders, who announced that they're now ready to enter talks with the government without preconditions. The country's opposition says it nevertheless stands by its demands.
The right of the people for having a parliament fully elected by the people, 100% elected by the people, based on one man, one vote. And that parliament should have exclusive jurisdictions, exclusive legislative and oversight power.
Now, a miraculous reawakening. Stay with us to find out how doctors saved this baby by freezing his brain.
Hello, welcome to a look at the international forecast. We have heavy rain now making its way back into southern Queensland. You can see how the cloud is gathering, it's building, and we will see some very big downpours here over the next few days. A thoroughly wet weekend to come then. Friday sees that rain setting in through southern Queensland. Brisbane will see further problems. That wet weather still very much in place as we go on through Saturday. As you can see, it nudges a little further northwards, but it will stay very disturbed. Joining up with those tropical showers into Northern Territory, into tropical parts of Australia. And then we've got a line of showers coming down into Western Australia. I think for Perth, it should stay largely dry at around 30 Celsius, but showers not too far away. It's hot down towards the southeast. We'll see temperatures 31 Celsius for Adelaide. Not quite so warm there for Melbourne, 24. That's a comfortable temperature, as will be the case over the next few days, with plenty of sunshine. Not too much sunshine on offer for New Zealand, on the other hand. I think for